progressive pacification is in full swing, and it's taking shape in the push for a federal minimum wage hike to $15 an hour that will crush low-skilled workers, decimate small businesses, and boost massive corporations who will benefit from smaller competitors going bust. Bernie Sanders has been bending Joe Biden's fragile ear enough to make the new president say this.
But I do think that we should have a minimum wage stand by itself, $15 an hour, and work your way up to the 15. It doesn't have to be boom. And all the economics show if you do that, the whole economy rises.
Or it collapses like a failed souffle. It sounds appetizing before you make it, but in reality, it's a disaster. Minimum wage laws are geographically brutal because wages fluctuate as much as accents and mullets in our great nation. In Massachusetts, the average hourly wage is $31.58. But in Mississippi, it's only $19.27. This one-size-fits-all federal edict has pretty drastic consequences in places that can't afford the pay jolt, and many businesses that have been hardest hit by the pandemic would be the first to close or lay off new and lesser-trained employees. You know, the people who are most disenfranchised, who are in the greatest need of being lifted out of poverty. Restaurants, retails, transportations, these are all sectors that rely on new labor, but they'll have to both eliminate jobs and increase costs to comply. God, I hate the word compliance. So who is most sucker punched by this gouging? People who are already broke, who will now be forced to pay more. Thanks, big government weenuses. It perpetuates a cruel system that the CBO has shown will cost 1.4 million jobs by 2025. And guess what? When your job is a minimum wage casualty, that is the only job that matters. Jen Psaki coldly blathers that minimum wage hikes have minimal impact on employment. Well, tell that to the people who are now on food stamps because their job is now automated or obliterated. And what the hell do these government lackeys know? They'll always be gainfully employed by the bureaucratic beast and have zero perspective on reality living on their government fart clouds. Talking about raising the minimum wage is an irrational attempt to seem benevolent. It does more harm than these dishonest agents will ever admit. For now, it's all malarkey, as President Biden himself admits it won't be part of the almost $2 trillion COVID package, and Joe Manchin is unwilling to subject his pained state to the statist savagery. Small businesses and the underemployed are safe for now, at least until a majority of crazy pinkos are finally running the asylum. And that's the memo.